Hello everyone and welcome back to ABA Day Digital 2020. We're so glad you could join us this year in these really unique circumstances. When we first started planning this event, we had no idea what it would turn into or how it would get accomplished, or even if you would join with us. So it's been so encouraging to see so many of you reach out. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about following up now that you've reached out to all of your members of Congress, and really why we do that and how that looks into the larger picture. Why it's so important that not only you communicate your interactions with Congress to the Governmental Affairs Office in Washington, but also to the Grassroots Action Team and the greater network at large here, because outside of the American Bar Association, we have a lot of great partner affiliations that do a lot of the great advocacy work alongside us, and we all want to work as a team if we can get through this together. I'd also like to talk to you about a few ways that you can really easily stay involved. So many people get involved and then they just drop off and wait till the next year's Advocacy Day, when really there are just a few things that you can do to set a few things in your life that all you have to do is whenever they come into your purview, you go ahead and take action right then and there, and then it's out of mind again. And then after that, I'd just like to tell you a few tools that we have on the ABA's website that you can use throughout the year. And then we'll be ready to go ahead and close it up. So really the main reason why we want to spend a lot of time trying to keep the relationship alive is because, as you can see, throughout the campaign, as we're starting to get closer and closer to the Advocacy Day, momentum really builds. We really get a lot of people talking about these issues. Congressional offices on the Hill start to hear about these messages more and more and more. And then right after the Advocacy Day, the messaging stops. Everything just goes down and just crashes right back down to exactly where it was. That's not great for building a relationship. And that way, every single year, we have to start over from scratch again. So I would like us to, throughout the year, just keep a little advocacy actions going. Very small, minuscule things that will just keep you in the mind of the members of Congress, keep the issues still moving, and keep you used to this, and keep you with one foot in front of the game. So basically, what we really want to kind of accomplish here is that whenever we have our Fly-In and Advocacy Day, where we really get our issues across, that is a chance when we can dive in and talk about the nuances that maybe the members of Congress don't actually get to talk about whenever they're just writing down these policy issues in a meeting. They hear the boots on the ground perspective from you, and we want to make sure that that stays relevant and stays in their mind, especially if they reached out to you and maybe asked for some follow-up information. If they did, we really want to reach out and follow up with any information immediately after. But if they didn't, and I should probably mention, if you do want to follow up with any information, we have our entire policy team that is sitting here waiting to help you come up with a good response. And we have a lot of good assets that can help you respond back very quickly, very easily, and it takes all the work off of your shoulders. So we are here to help. Please reach out at any point at eric.storey@americanbar.org. You can email me directly. But in the event that you don't have a immediate reach out or immediate follow-up to go back on, we really want to look at about 4 to 8 weeks and then set up an in-district meeting where you can do exactly what you do in a face-to-face meeting in Washington, but in the in-district meetings. This is really easy to do because they actually have staff that's in all of the in-district meetings that are really happy to dive into the nuances of the issues and exactly how particular you want to get. And then they will reach out to their members of Congress during that Monday meeting and relay all. So what we want to do is reach out to them in the districts and give them all of the information that they can leading up to it. Now, if this is not your first at ABA Day with us, and if you continue to build relationships, we really want to challenge you to look at this next year as a holistic approach to advocacy, in a way where we want to have serial interactions with these members of Congress. We don't want to ask them for something every time we reach out to them. That's not how a good relationship works. So what we really want to do, and we are here to help you plan all this out. We have calendars and tools, as well as dates to suggest to you to try to keep this all as easy as possible for you. But we want to reach out different times throughout the year and just offer your expertise. Offer to be the legal resource in your community and the perspective that those members of Congress reach out to on issues of the rule of law. So to do that is really easy to do. You can do that over the phone. You can do that over email. Different ways that you can reach out are really ways just to keep the relationship going, so that when you do have those meetings, when you do need to relay those one-pagers, they already have all of that out of the way. You don't have to sit here and introduce yourself, explain your policy, outline. All of that's already taken care of in another in-district meeting that you've had a couple months earlier. That way, that whenever you actually meet in face-to-face, you can talk about the things that really matter, the issues, the policy discussions, and then all of the follow-up can happen in another meeting following that. So we really want to try to change our approach and look at this in a real serial fashion. Also, I really want to talk to you about plugging into the larger picture. Whenever you reach out to your members of Congress, the Governmental Affairs Office really wants to hear that, because whenever we talk to that same individual, we want to be able to say, thank you so much for talking to John Doe. Jane Doe really had the best things to say about your meeting, but we'd like to follow up a little bit on what she said, and we've developed a few things for you. We also don't want to act like we're the only people meeting with these members of Congress, and we don't want to have to duplicate resources. If somebody has already done something and reached out to them, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's support what that individual did, and let's have some strength in numbers. So what I'd like for you to do is go onto our ABA Day digital toolkit and fill out a little bit of a follow-up survey. It's about 5 questions, very simple, very easy, couldn't take you more than a couple minutes to fill out, but that will let us know exactly how your interaction worked and fit into the overall schedule. We have in our messaging center on the back of house great profiles for every single member of Congress, where we get to actually keep all of the grassroots interactions, all of the lobbying interactions that we have, every letter that's sent to them. So whenever you reach out and have a good interaction, whether that's just an email or whether that's a 30-minute face-to-face, we want to know so that we can go ahead and plug that into the larger picture. Moving on, I'd again like to touch back on a few ways that you can actually keep this relationship going throughout the year. This does not need to be a heavy lift. This does not need to be difficult in any way. But just like with any relationship, we want to keep the interactions going. You'll notice that the form emails that we have on our Grassroots website are still on the top 10 list of the best ways to move policy. Now, what you're looking at is a survey from the Congressional Management Foundation that asked every single congressional office, what's the best way to move the needle on something? And you'll notice that form emails are down here with over 50% of congressional offices saying that it had either some or a lot of influence. But of course, moving over to the other side, we can see that a few things like visit from a lobbyist, a phone call, a unique email, an email that's not one of our form letters, but just an email from you, starts to really raise the impact value. And you'll understand that form emails are a great way to start, and then moving on to unique emails is just a really easy intro into building your relationship. That you don't need to start with an in-person visit, that it doesn't have to be the largest lift, but that each time you are just keeping the relationship alive. We also talk a lot about social media in our interactions and in our grassroots, and a lot of people ask, is that really something that's valuable? Do these people really care? Do they have just a social media manager that just handles this stuff? The answer is yes, they have a social media manager that handles this stuff for them. But they absolutely have the ear of the member of Congress. They are the tip of the spear for the communications with the constituents. So, because it's that important, that same Congressional Management Foundation survey asked, what about social media messages and how many social media messages it really matters to take effect? And 34% of offices said 1 to 10 posts is enough to make them stand up and have a meeting about an issue. 1 to 10 posts. Moving over, 79% of offices said up to 30 posts, which is just not difficult to get, especially for senators. So this is why we want to work together. This is why we want to plug into the Grassroots Action Team and really multiply each other's efforts. We're all in this together. We're trying to get this as a team. So we really just want to use a few of these things. So Keeping this relationship alive, even if you don't want to send emails out, something very easy that you can do is just simply reach out to your members of Congress and follow them on Twitter. Connect with them on Facebook. You won't see those messages hardly ever, but when you do see those messages come up, go ahead and take a second and click on that member of Congress and scroll through their feed. Go ahead and like a few of those posts. That gets your name up in the top of the social media manager's mind. Whenever they start to run analytics, your name will start to come up more and more. These are just simple things that you can do to keep things constantly going. Another thing that you can do on social media is whenever you're scrolling through and you see those different comments, especially when it has something to do with an issue that you're an expert on, go ahead and repost that with a comment. And then when you do, you can go online and find, we have tools like this on our website. That's a checklist of things that you can do. And you can do simple things like hashtagging your district, just to let them know you're a constituent. And then saying, I really appreciate your view on this. Thank you so much for reaching out on this. Or, this is really not how the legal profession views this. I can tell you as a legal expert and a constituent, this is how I feel. So social media is just a real easy way that you can just keep this going, and you only have to do it when you have the time. Another way that you can really go ahead and keep these things going is by going to our Grassroots toolkit and sending these form letters periodically. We constantly update these. These are something that we spend a great amount of time on and that we delicately prepare for you to send at any moment. Our policy team makes sure and keep this consistently fresh and up to date. So anytime you want to log on, just go to ambar.org/grassroots and you'll be able to find many more campaigns like the ones you've been going and executing for the last 2 days. A few other ways that you can keep engaged and keep going is by signing up for our Washington Letter. That's our award-winning monthly publication that we put out about the issues that are moving in Congress that have to do with the legal profession. That's a great way to stay up to date, and we also have really cool sections in there, like our Advocate of the Month, where we highlight someone that's been doing an extraordinary effort. We also have legislative research tips in there. We have events that you might be interested in, and some other things in there. So please, by all means, go to ambar.org/Washington Letter to sign up for that. Obviously, staying up to date with ABA Day is great, but you can also join our Grassroots Action Team. This is a way that we can reach out to you and let you know when someone in your area has a campaign going that you might want to get behind, or just to let you know that we have a new tool that's developed in our Grassroots Action Team area that we really think that you could take advantage of. This is not a spam list. We are not a listserv. We are not just going to send out emails to you. This is to join the Grassroots Action Team and to put your efforts behind the Governmental Affairs Office and help us all bolster together to help move the needle for the legal profession. Again, I really want to thank all of you for joining us for ABA Day Digital 2020. This has been a very unique experience for everyone involved, but I really want to thank our speakers for being so flexible and being willing to turn their living rooms into the stage for the conference. I really appreciate all of your effort, all of your grassroots support, and all of your outreach to both each other, to the Governmental Affairs Office, to the ABA at large, as well as to your members of Congress. This really has been an incredible experience, and we hope you'll join us again next year. Thank you again.